question. Oh yes, I remember now. If you were to stop me,
Yes.
you yourself.
Yep.
Okay. I ran a stop sign or did whatever.
Sure.
Now, looking at me, would you ask me for my citizenship?
I would ask you for your driver's license, registration, and your proof of insurance, just as I would him.
No, I asked
her.
you. I asked you, would you treat me? Would you ask me my citizenship?
No, I would ask you
Just
for your
because
driver's license.
Just because
Absolutely not.
of the way I look.
We can't. And that's forbidden under the law. And this is where anybody who's in America, even if a person that was illegal driving a car, the Constitution safeguards in the Fourth Amendment, which protects against unlawful search and seizure. I have to treat, and every law enforcement officer has to treat somebody as if they're a citizen, even if they're not.
When I was in the Army,
Yes.
and that was from 1948 to 1952,
Yes.
I had my company commander come and tell me, and at the time I was a corporal, he said, "Corporal, you're going to have a hard time making rank." And I said, "Why?" "Because you're a Mexican American." You know what I told him? I said, "You know, if I'd have known that this country was going to discriminate me, I'd have joined the Mexican
Right.
Army, not this army."
Well-
No, he said, "You misunderstand me. I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to talk for you,
Sure.
and I'm going to tell the next," because he was leaving. He was the company commander, and he was leaving, and he said, "I'm going to put a good word for you because you are a good soldier."
Excellent.
I became a platoon sergeant. I was a drill instructor.
That's awesome.
And I was an interpreter that we were selling equipment obsolete for us.
Sure.
To the Nicaraguan, the Puerto Rican, the Costa Rican, and all those people were selling. And because I could speak Spanish, I was an interpreter and a demonstrator because I was in a tank outfit.
Wow.
So, you know.
Well, I still serve as a combat engineer in the Army. And in the Army
and
National
like I said,
Guard.
I am for law enforcement.
Yes.
And I am, you know, to protect us. But I know that it's impossible for you to be with every sheriff around
Right.
driving their cars.
Sure.
And some of them, for some reason, will hate Mexicans for one reason or another. Now,
Everybody has, and
This
this
is what I'm
is
afraid
where
of.
the good thing is, at the Pinal County Sheriff's Office, over 200 of my full-time employees are Hispanic or Mexican. And this is where the good thing, you mentioned in 1942, that you signed up in 48, so you're talking 62 years ago. A lot of things have happened in America's past
That's
where there's
correct.
been some bad things that have happened, and I'm not apologizing for it. I'm saying we have grown beyond that. So,
I'm aware of that.
And this is where the beauty of your story and how you push beyond that. And your company commander saw the strength in you and your performance and your merit and your skill, and you rose. And that's the beauty of America, where there are countries today that wouldn't afford that, but they afforded you that back in 48. And so now, here, we're far beyond that. And so anytime, if there is a deputy, even if I'm not riding along with him, if there is a deputy or a police officer that does break the law, because you're breaking the law, if they use race, color, national origin as a criteria for any of this,
That's what we
will hold them to account.
That's what we Mexican Americans are
Yes.
afraid of.
I
Because of
understand.
And you can't tell me that all your deputies are A1 because you will have one nut somewhere in there. I'm sorry,
But that's
to
where
say
some
that-
people make mistakes, you're right. However, the difference here is that I will hold them to account, and all of us will.
That is if you
he-
know about it.
Absolutely. If somebody brings a report, absolutely, we investigate it. Here's the other thing, and what I had shared earlier, I'm not sure if you had heard, the troubling part of this, as we're debating this, and here you're talking about law enforcement officers, before the president, before the Attorney General of America even read this law that restricted us from using race, color, national origin, from being applied in any of this, it's forbidden, they decided to plant this in people's minds that this is what it's going to be.
Because they'll
And,
know.
and now, but here's what they did. They put it on us, so now any time that a deputy or an officer stops you, or stops any other Mexican, American, or any other Hispanic,
Right.
they should believe now, well, do I have reason to question this? The President of the United States and the Attorney General said that this is going to lead to racial profiling, and of course it did, because I wasn't going 80 and a 60 like the officer said I was,
Exactly.
or I didn't know I had to have my insurance for this car, but they don't, and it's like, this is where, in America, even though we have our shortcomings, that we're the best among any other countries that can still look beyond those differences.